If you didn't know, I'm a moderate fan of horror games. So I've heard a lot of, why don't you play Dead by Daylight? And I always have to say, well, I did. A lot, actually. I actually triple prestiged my boy Jake Park. But I haven't played it in over a year. And if you check the active players of this game per month, you see that's not an uncommon sentiment. People are dropping off this game like flies. And they're not picking up new players either. Before we get too deep into this, I do want it to be clear, I love this game. I constantly catch myself thinking just, man, I want to play Dead by Daylight tonight. But then I remember everything we're about to go over and I immediately change my mind. And also, I'm not by any means saying Dead by Daylight is a dead game. There's a very strong community behind it, and it still seems loads of play on Twitch and other things, so it's definitely still around. But it is dying, and if the devs don't figure out a solution to these issues, it's going to be dead soon. Maybe even by daylight. Fucking keeping that in, that's so dumb. Hey, I'm Rightos, I stream on Twitch, and I also make videos about horror games here on YouTube. Anyway, the problem with this game can be summed up with one word. Balance. Cool, roll credits. Okay, for real though, balance is the overarching theme of all the issues here, but it's not the sole problem. It's more than that, the issue here is threefold. But before we can get into the particulars of the things that stem off of it, we have to go over the roots of the problem itself, the balancing. Going online, the sentiment across fandoms of this game is that the balancing needs work. Now, it sounds like everyone's in agreement, but there's actually two warring factions at play. Some of the community think that killers are too strong and that they need to be nerfed so the survivors have a chance. But there's also a significant amount of players that think it's the survivors who are overpowered and need a nerf so they can manage to hit one. The problem with all of this? They're both right. The game is wildly one-sided. It just depends on the lobby to determine what side that is. There really is rarely a close game in Dead by Daylight. It seems to be that either a killer full kills or doesn't kill anyone, and there's rarely an in-between. Now there's a few reasons for this, and many of them come down to the specific technicals, things that, frankly, I am not qualified to talk about. But believe me, there is a mess in the mechanics that needs to be fixed. The real problem with these balancing issues, though, goes straight down to the core of the game. But so far in development, any attempt to fix it has been surface level, adding an additional perk or changing a movement speed. It's enough to quell the fanbase for a while, but the problems remain. One of the clearest examples of the problem in balancing comes with the idea of fairness. With the way the mechanics of this game works, if a killer manages to hook a survivor and does what's known as camping, standing directly in front of them so people can't get off, there's pretty much no saving that survivor. The idea of the game's balance is that if a killer is engaging in this behavior, first, try not to get caught, but if it happens, try to do more generators while the killer's distracted with one person. That way the rest of you can escape. Many agree that good sportsmanship is either to patrol an area around the hook or just leave it altogether. But it remains true that the most effective strategy is to hook and guard that survivor with your life. Many survivors think it's only fair that the killer patrol or walk away. But frankly, this is a competitive game. So why wouldn't each team do the most effective strategy to win? Another issue with this strategy is not only is it seen as unfair, it sucks if you're the survivor. Because you want to play Dead by Daylight, and you've waited for a while, which we'll get into, and you finally get into a match, 3 minutes in, you unluckily happenstance among the killer, they knock you down, and for the next 5 minutes you stare at their face. And then your game is over. And there's nothing you can do. Now, besides some frustrating gameplay, what else is an issue for a game as unbalanced as this? The cultivation of a toxic community. Dead by Daylight has a almost notoriously toxic fanbase. It's made up of survivors that, when they lose, they spam noob or cheap to delegitimize the loss, but when they stomp a killer and win, they spam insults and tell the player to uninstall. The same goes the other way as well. Killers will often tell people to uninstall if they get killed, and cry foul play on a loss. Sure, it's not 100% this, but it is the majority. Frankly, with a post-game lobby chat that's text-only between all the players, I don't know what they expected. Now, okay, I hear you. All games have some toxic section of their fanbase. What makes Dead by Daylight stand out in particular? Well, there's two main factors that lead into that. First, as we discussed, this game is wildly one-sided, but it depends on which way. So after each match, more likely than not, you have 4 players that either feel gypped, or like they're unstoppable, and one killer who either feels cheated or like a player. Both of those moods beget toxic behavior. It's either being a sore winner or sore loser. Either way, nobody's happy. The second option is frankly not Dead by Daylight's fault. Horror games attract a lot of edgy teens. That's just a fact. You play any horror game, you're gonna meet a lot of edgy teens. It just happens. And don't get mad at me, I was one. So you have this game that has a large chunk of players who already have a predisposition to being shitty. And then after playing a match, they either feel like a god or they feel cheated. Mix it all together and then immediately let them text each other. Like, yeah, of course this is gonna be a toxic fucking community, what else would happen with this? Now, toxicity and balancing aside, like I said, I love playing this game, but there's still a problem with that. Because Dead by Daylight doesn't love letting the players play the game. The matchmaking time in this game is ridiculous. If we play for 3 hours, we'll be lucky to play like 5 matches. The majority of that time being spent waiting in lobbies, not even like playing the game. I could put everything aside if I was allowed to play the game. Take Apex Legends. I'm shitty at Apex Legends. Like, pretty bad. Don't get me wrong, I've been playing since launch, so like, I'm not terrible, but I'm not good. I don't think I've ever made it past Silver 3. Hi, Casey. Are you good at Apex? But I love playing the game, and I try to play it with friends at least once a week. I want to play more, but I have a baby. Do I win every time? No. Do I win every play session? No. Do I win most play sessions? No. The point is, I still play the game, okay? I have fun. The gameplay itself is fun and rewarding. And if I lose, I can get back into a game quick enough that the fun of playing it kind of erases the sting of losing the last match. Thing is, you can't do that in Dead by Daylight. Let me set a hypothetical for you. You just played a match of DBD, and you got stomped. Like, absolutely demolished. You get into the post-match screen, and the other people in the match are just spamming uninstall, your trash, or worse. Whatever, brush it off, let's play another one. And then for 5 minutes, you sit there in the matchmaking lobby and wait. If you're not playing with people on Discord or something, I don't know how you're supposed to last. Half the time, I'm playing with people on Discord, and we all have a second game pulled up and play it while we're matchmaking. I play Minesweeper, Amy plays The Sims, it's no bueno. And that's not to mention how broken the ranking system is. The idea is that the game tries to match you with players at your skill level, but because of the matchmaking issues, it's not uncommon for rank 1s to get paired up with people that haven't even cracked rank 15. And with the progression system favoring longtime players, that's rough. Try to put yourself in the shoes of a new player. You just installed the game, you don't have anything unlocked. You pick a character that looks pretty cool, and you matchmake for a lobby. 5 minutes later, you get one. And then, halfway through, you get absolutely creamed by the killer, put on a hook, and stared at. You don't even get to play, you barely learned the game. Then you get into the post-match lobby, and you see that everyone else is rank 10, rank 10, rank 12, and the killer is ranked 4. And there you are, rank 20, just started. You spectate to see how the game is supposed to be played, and then once everybody gets kicked out, you're told to uninstall the game. Would you load up for a second match? This is the main problem with Dead by Daylight. A problem that, if they don't fix, this game isn't gonna last as long as I want it to. And I don't think I can come back to it. Frankly, the only fun I have playing in Dead by Daylight anymore is when I get 4 of my friends and we set up a 5-player custom lobby with everyone we know. That way we can do what we think the group would have the most fun with. How do they even fix this problem? Well, I don't know. They can fix the matchmaking system, but if they don't bring in more players, then that doesn't really mean anything. I think this is the ultimate challenge with asymmetrical gaming. Until the balance of games like this can be perfected, they're gonna fall short. Evolve, Friday the 13th, Secret Neighbor, last year. I could go on, but all of these games had a cool idea, but were so unbalanced that they became unplayable quickly. Evolve didn't even last 2 years. And 2K made that game. Playing in a 5-person lobby with your friends is fine, but the moment a game like this tries to become competitive, it becomes unfair quickly. The idea of 1v4 gameplay is great, but there's a reason the best Mario Party minigames are 2v2 and free-for-all. Slightly different video this week, but I mean, it's still horror related. And I get a lot of questions on like, do you play Dead by Daylight? It's a huge Twitch game, but like, I don't like the community, and I don't like the game anymore at this point. I like the game, I don't like playing online. It's a hassle. Am I wrong? Is this just me? Let me know in the comments. Like and subscribe, all that jazz, you know. I like the video. You should too. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-da-ba-ba. Shout out to the best patron, Emberisk. And until next time, as always, stay toasty.